Welcome back to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today I have a delicious main course recipe, perfect for your holiday table. I'm going to show you how to make my stuffed and roasted leg of lamb. It's a boneless leg of lamb that's going to be filled with herbs and delicious roasted chestnuts and prunes. It's going to be out of this world good. I'm going to serve it with some roasted potatoes, and the whole thing is going to be elegant and impressive and very easy to put together. Let's go over the ingredients so we can get started. So we're going to need some olive oil, freshly squeezed lemon juice, dried oregano, some cumin powder, prunes, you can use apricots if you want, or even figs, some roasted chestnuts, fresh rosemary, garlic cloves, salt. I'm going to get the black pepper, it's missing from here. And I have a leg of lamb that's boneless. I also have some baby potatoes. These are gold potatoes, Yukon Gold, and some couscous. We are going to begin with making the marinade. So the marinade is very simple. I'm going to grate 3 cloves of garlic. Next, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Always use the fresh juice, never the canned or jarred, or however they sell it these days. And a little bit of olive oil, about a 1/4 cup. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of cumin powder, a teaspoon of crushed dried oregano, the rosemary. I'm going to remove the leaves and I'm going to chop them. Rosemary smells so good and it goes so well with lamb, as does mint. It was not listed as one of the ingredients because I forgot to take it out. It was in the back soaking. I'm going to finely chop the mint leaves and add them to the marinade. I'm just going to give everything a nice mix with a spoon and set it aside. So I bought this lamb and it's already boneless. All I'm going to do is cut some slits in it just to open it up and have some more surface area for the filling, and so that way everything is even and that way it cooks evenly in the oven. So everything should be the same thickness. So you just want to cut slits to open it up, but don't cut all the way through. And then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm not going to take the fat off. If you want to take it off, you can go ahead, but I'm going to leave it on. I'm just going to cut some slits through it, not all the way through. Flip it around, and now it's time to season it. I'm going to pour all of the marinade onto it. Next, I'm going to season with a little bit of salt. I'll put half the salt on one side, and then on the other, and then some freshly cracked black pepper. And I'm going to flip it over so we can season the other side, and some black pepper. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more oregano on top too. Oregano really helps with the gaminess of the lamb, and it just goes very well with it. Now I'm just going to turn this over a few times. At this point, what you can do is you can cover this with plastic wrap and refrigerate it overnight, so that way all of the flavors can marry and the flavors can just penetrate through and season the lamb really well. Or you can do it for a minimum of an hour or two, whatever you have. Just make sure that the marinade is all over the lamb before you do that. So I have some roasted chestnuts that I've roasted at home in my oven. If you have not watched that video, it's a must for this recipe because you have to roast your own chestnuts. Nothing compares to fresh roasted chestnuts. The ones sold in the store that are already roasted are soggy and they just don't taste good. They taste off. Watch that video. I'll put it in the card section up above. I'm just going to chop these chestnuts. Fresh roasted chestnuts are so flavorful. They're lightly sweet, tender, and just delicious. Now I'm just going to chop up the prunes. Now you can use prunes, dried apricots, cranberries, raisins, whatever your favorite dried fruit is. I love the combination of the sweet and savory and fresh flavors all together. It just tastes so good and complements the lamb really well. Just go ahead and chop up the prunes. That's good. Who said that a little bit of feta in the stuffing wouldn't be delicious either? You can go ahead and add some feta if you want, or even some kefalograviera or Parmesan cheese, whatever you like. Now it's time to put the stuffing into the lamb. I'm going to save these extra chestnuts that are left over to snack on because they don't fit. Now we're going to roll the lamb up. But before you do that, make sure you press the stuffing into the lamb. And then go ahead and wrap it with a little bit of butcher's twine. About 5 or 6 knots will do, 5 or 6 strings will do. Go ahead and cut out the excess string. So you want to make sure that your oven is preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, but before the lamb goes inside the oven, we're going to brown it on all sides. I like to do this in a cast iron skillet. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in it, and I'm going to brown it all around about 5 minutes on each side. So I like to roast it all around, even on the front and back ends. It depends on your stovetop. It's going to take anywhere between 2 to 4 minutes. But once you see that beautiful color, then that's how you know it's time to flip it over. Once it's done browning, transfer it to your roasting pan. I'm also going to insert an oven-safe thermometer because this is going to bake in a preheated 325 degree oven until the internal temperature reaches 155 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperature that I like for it to be. It's about medium well. If you like it a little bit less cooked, I'll put all of the instructions in the written recipe on the website. And before we move on, actually, I just wanted to say that before I put the lamb into the pan, all of the juices that were in the pan that I marinated the lamb in, and all the bits and pieces of chestnut and prunes, I also put at the bottom of the pan. It wasn't that much, it was just a little bit. And the fat that rendered out in the frying pan, in the cast iron skillet, I just do not use that in here. I left it on the side. I'm going to put this in the oven and I'll show you what it looks like as soon as it's done. So the lamb took 2 hours to roast. Now I took it out once the internal temperature reached 150 degrees Fahrenheit. If you want it cooked a little less, like medium rare, take it out at 140 and then it'll warm up a little bit more and reach 145 by the time you go and slice it. Once it comes out, cover it with aluminum foil and let it rest for 20 minutes so the juices can redistribute. Go ahead and cut the strings off and discard them and slice it into slices. Serve it with some roasted potatoes, some couscous. I made some couscous by just putting some couscous in a bowl, dried uncooked couscous with some salt, pepper, a little bit of lemon juice, and then I just poured some boiling hot broth over it and a little bit of olive oil, mixed it up, and I let it sit for 10 minutes and the couscous was ready. Tastes really good with some creamy tzatziki sauce because tzatziki is nice and cool and refreshing. Also with some feta, some homemade bread, and you have a meal ready in no time. It's time to take a bite. The lamb is cooked just the way I like it. I like mine well done. You can cook yours however you like. The prunes and the chestnuts add such a nice level of sweetness to it. It's perfectly seasoned. You can head on over to the website dimitrasdishes.com to print this recipe. Make it and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, sis.